Being a coder, a grunt worker, I mean, you might as well be a janitor at that point.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Devslopes. This video, it's kind of something that I'm going to take really seriously, mainly because I stumbled upon this video by TechLead, and a lot of the things that were said really rubbed me the wrong way, and I think it also really rubbed a lot of the people in the comments the wrong way, and I just wanted to bring some light because here's the problem. You have a lot of people within the coding industry, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people that are preaching false information in order to get more views on their channel and in order to get more subscribers and in order to get more paid promotions. So I'm not even going to put a link to Devslopes. I'm not even going to reference Devslopes. I'm not going to talk about what we do in this video. I'm not going to talk about anything along those lines. I'm just going to get to the facts of what I found to be very wrong in this video that was posted, and it's called "Is Coding Still Worth It in 2024 as an Ex-Google Programmer?" Now, a little backstory on TechLead. TechLead did work at Google for a while. He has credibility in the programming industry, which makes him what would be a very suitable person to become an influencer on YouTube. And a lot of his previous YouTube videos were very, very helpful and very beneficial. But as time has progressed and as what happens to many YouTubers, they get very greedy and money hungry. And I believe that is what happened to TechLead. So right off the bat in this video, TechLead waits about a minute before he gives you his first sponsor, and that by itself is a little frustrating. But what we get into is what he calls the coding delusion, and it's basically this concept that people overhype what coding is. He basically says that coding is not what it used to be. So let's watch this first snippet where he talks about what he calls the coding delusion, and I'll give you some reference points.
So, is coding still worth it? It is an unequivocal no. It's not. And so the coding delusion is similar, where a lot of people put coding on this pedestal, viewing it as the gateway to success, whereas really it just leads you down this terrible 9-to-5 slog of a job, in which maybe you're getting paid $60K per year. Maybe a little bit more, sure. But it was originally viewed as the way to become the next app millionaire, the next Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, or Steve Jobs. This is not reality. That was 20 years ago.
A lot of people who are interested in learning how to code, they see something like this and they get immediately confused and frustrated, and they may even question themselves, why are they even learning how to code? This guy fails to realize that a lot of people aren't getting into programming in order to become the next Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. A lot of people are getting into programming because they are not fulfilled in the careers that they have right now, and they're looking for a way to get a more fulfilling career and live a more fulfilling lifestyle. They don't look at coding to be the next Silicon Valley star and build giant robots. They look at coding as a way to help benefit their lifestyle to where maybe they can spend more time with their family, spend more time doing what they love, and make more money while doing it. And the other thing that's frustrating is he touches on the salaries just a little bit, maybe making $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and that is completely untrue. If we were to take a look at the average React developer salary in the US, we can see the average salary is about $88,000, $80,000 in average. Let's take a look at ZipRecruiter. If we take a look at the average React developer salary, we can see that the average salary sits around $129,000 a year, but we'll even go lower. 8% of jobs, $93,000 to $104,000 a year. And the reason I bring up React is because he mentions React in this video, but the way he does it is so disrespectful to the people that spend hours upon days upon years putting their effort into learning how to code. So let's watch this video where he talks about how programming is not high status.
Status is everything. It's not exactly high status work. High status work would be the type of job that you would want to do even if you were rich. Something like, say, directing a movie, being an actor, maybe being a novelist or a painter, something that would get you some social credibility. Being a coder, a grunt worker, I mean, you might as well be a janitor at that point.
That is just so disrespectful. That is just so disrespectful to anybody in the industry wondering if they should learn how to code. You're basically saying, don't learn how to code, become an actor instead. Let's look at a realistic standpoint of somebody looking to change their careers and become a developer in order to live a life where they can spend more time with their families. What the hell does status have to do with that? And comparing it to something as simple as a janitor shows that the people that spend hours, like I said before, hours upon hours trying to learn how to code and put in the time and effort, they essentially just get disrespected by this guy saying, you're basically a janitor. So right about at the 3-minute mark, we get another promotion after he talks about the coding delusion where he's promoting a keyboard.
Now, by the way, you may be wondering, What is this beautiful mechanical keyboard on my desk? And
now this is frustrating in itself because you're making a topic that can alter the way people perceive their careers for the rest of their life. And you're making a topic and you're just flaunting your promotions and your sponsorships. This is just downright disgusting.
The landscape has changed so much. People are no longer downloading apps or visiting websites. Most internet usage is now consolidated into the top 5 to 10 top social media applications like Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Maybe that's about it.
He talks about how 90% of the time people are on the internet, it's to use a certain percentage of apps that are already out there. He fails to understand that there are jobs outside of just FAANG companies. And that can be frustrating because people are looking at this. People are looking to understand what is happening in the coding job market, and they're seeing things like this, and they're worried, wow, if I can't get a job at Apple, I'm basically learning how to code for no reason. And that is just not the case.
However, on these social media websites, you now have code influencers who essentially are people who can't code, who have never coded in their lives. Maybe they're React developers, and they're just selling you the dream that maybe you can be a cool programmer or software engineer.
Some coding influencers are saying things that honestly just lead people to false hope, and I completely agree. But what he doesn't seem to even understand is that he does the exact same thing. He fails to understand that what he's doing himself is exactly the thing that he is talking shit about in this video.
These code influencers will continue to sell you this Ponzi dream scheme of an idea that coding will somehow make you rich, setting you free when in reality that is far from the case. Coding itself has become a Ponzi scheme.
Now, I understand this to an extent. Coding's not going to make you rich. Everyone understands that coding is not what it used to be, and people understand that you're not going to become the next Mark Zuckerberg, and people aren't looking for that. People are looking for just an entryway into tech to where they can make good salaries, take care of their families, and still live decent and more beneficial lifestyles. It isn't about building the next Netflix or the next Apple. It's about giving people the opportunity to learn how to code and change their lives, even if it's in the sense of to where they have more time to spend with their kids and families. And so I understand not preaching that this is you're going to be your gateway to success, but it's the same way when you flip it. You can't preach that coding is a complete hellhole and you shouldn't do it. So now we get to hear what he says about React developers. And the reason I bring this up is because it really is demotivating for a lot of people who feel like they put in so much effort into learning how to code and learning how to get this lifestyle that they want. And when you say things like what he's about to say here, you really just make them feel like shit. You really just make them feel like they don't have the smarts or wits. And maybe it's because he's an ex-Google employee. Maybe it's because he thinks he has all this credibility and he's the smartest developer out there. But nonetheless, it still takes time and it's still difficult to learn how to code, even if that's as simple as becoming a React developer.
Let me tell you something about React. React is the language of the slaves. It was originally developed by Facebook for its mass army of junior engineers who could not develop at all and who had no logic or reasoning at all. I mean, these people they messed up all the time, and so they needed a language that was impossible to mess up in. And so the reality is, if you're a React developer, which so many people are, you're not actually a real software engineer or developer because you're not putting to use any algorithms or data structures, and there is no career path to anything higher than that. You're basically doing the job of an automaton slave that eventually ChatGPT will be able to do for us.
Learning how to code is so much more than just being a top level developer who can solve anything and has the perfect brain and has an IQ of 800 plus. It's just not realistic. It's not realistic. And by telling people this, you're essentially telling them that they don't have the wits and that they have no right to call themselves a developer, when in reality that's not the case, because they still went through the exact same struggles to get where they are. Now, he says ChatGPT will be able to do this work for you. And the reality is, long down the road, potentially ChatGPT will be able to make a lot of programming solutions easier, but it doesn't mean you're not going to need programmers. And just because you learn React doesn't mean ChatGPT is going to take your job. No, you need to be able to optimize yourself, which we talk about in so many videos. You need to be able to optimize yourself in a way to where you can use ChatGPT and use tools like AI to help put you in a better position within the industry.
It's also relevant to note, I'm one of the few software engineers who will actually tell you this because I'm able to step out of my role. Most other developers and people in Silicon Valley have their heads stuck in the grounds and they completely miss the social media revolution. They miss the no-code solutions, still thinking that STEM degrees are the path to success.
Now, this is almost the most frustrating part of the video because what he does is he singles himself out as the know-it-all. And I understand that there is validity to him being an ex-Google employee and him having credibility in FAANG companies and having credibility as a developer. But don't set yourself out as you know everything and that you are the best possible person to come for these resources, because people look at this, people watch your content, people consume your content and hope to find the truth in what you're saying. And when you tell lies and single yourself out to know everything about the industry, what does that say? What does that do for the people who are looking to make better lives for themselves? So guys, I don't even need to feel like I need to even go for it, other than the fact that if you look in his bio, he didn't even have the audacity to take out his ace coding interviews promotions and free daily coding interview questions to practice your skills. He literally is essentially promoting himself. He's trying to get money for himself. He's trying to get money from his channel. He's using his 1.45 million subscribers in order to leverage into his own pockets. And guys, if you guys worried about learning how to code and you guys feel like coding isn't an industry that's worth it, I'm here to tell you, don't let people like this discourage you. Don't let videos like this get you overwhelmed and thinking that everything that you're doing is for nothing. Because the reality is what you guys are doing is fantastic, and keep learning how to code. And don't let someone strip your title as a developer just because they don't want to adjust to the times. That's it, guys. That's it for this video. I know this was a big rant, but I'm just so frustrated. I'm so frustrated with seeing tons of influencers leveraging their following in order to put money in their own pockets. And I want you guys to know that if you're learning how to code in 2024, it is 100% worth it. And I'm so glad so many people in the comment sections of this video found that there is just utter bullshit going on here and that they are doing good and that there is validity to what they're doing. So guys, I don't even want to ask you guys to subscribe. Just thank you for watching this video. Don't buy into the bullshit, and I'll see you guys in the next video.